Ian Watkins, disgraced, pedophile, piece of shit, demonic chomo motherfucker, was just stabbed up repeatedly for 6 hours, held hostage. But before we get into that, let me just tell you his backstory of this piece of shit. So what he did, he was part of a band that was huge, blowing up in the UK. And I guess his wife and other family members found out that he was fucking with babies. He was a demonic chomo piece of shit. So he ends up getting convicted and sent to prison. Now this is 10, 13 years ago. Time passes. He's in prison. An inmate decides to snap. And whatever reason it was, we call it bucking, we call it just not cuffing up. But he decided to hold that chomo hostage, stab him for 6 hours straight. That means he was torturing this chomo. But that's what I love to hear, because you torture all your victims mentally and physically that are weaker than you. And now you finally have a man that stand up and he's putting that knife in you to make you feel just a tiny bit of what your victims felt. I mean, he just refused to let him go. This chomo got hit up for 6 hours straight. Now, the way it usually goes down in these situations is you're in confinement and you got a fucked up cellie and you might be ready to snap. So he's just going to be collateral damage. But I think on top of it, him being a chomo, it made this one 10 times personal. Because I seen a lot of convicts grab a random inmate and just hold him with a knife or stab him up or hold an officer hostage. But this was a chomo, and he tortured him for 6 hours, almost to let him know what his victims felt. Now, this could just be a dude that snapped. It could be a dude that wants his badge of honor. It could be a hit on the family member. But as y'all can see, 10, 13 years go by, right? This guy's a lead singer, I guess, of a band or whatnot, very famous. But once people forget, the only people that remember are the convicts and the victims. And when you mix them together, that puts your life in danger. So the warden doesn't have to clean up the prisons. The officers don't have to protect you as much. People get lackadaisy on you. And this is what eventually happens to all the chomos, all the killers, all the famous ones that they never thought this would happen to. Once the entire world forgets about you, there's only a few that remember, and they're the ones that want to hurt you. So apparently and allegedly, this convict held him for hostage, and he's still fighting for his life to the second as we speak. You know, I wish no ill on nobody, but all I gotta say, if I was put in that same situation, I might have done the same. Now, it's fucked up on the inside, but at the end of the day, you reap what you sow. If you make your bed, you gotta lay in it, and that's the reality of life. It goes every which way you can imagine. Stay out, stay free. Us.